Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Val the Realtor, and today we're going to be talking about preparing to list your home. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and comment below if you have any other topics that you would like me to discuss. I'm very passionate about real estate and would love to share my knowledge with you. When you invite a realtor into your home to do an evaluation, be prepared that they're going to give you a whole listing presentation that goes with that. Because when we evaluate your home, the price is just one little thing that comes at actually the very end, where there's all this other stuff that comes first to come up with that price tag. I have this handy little thing called 10 things to do before you list your home. And I always jump to number 8. And it sounds funny that I jump to number 8, but 8 is actually the most important thing. And that is your real property report. Everybody always asks me what the RPR is, or real property report, and it is this magical land survey that accompanies every property that has any land, as well as some bare land condominiums will also have an RPR. This RPR is almost as valuable as the title of your home because this shows what people are actually going to buy, and I am always amazed at how many people don't actually know where it is, don't know where it is in their house, they can't find it, and they have no recollection of receiving it when they purchased their home. If you are one of those people, it's probably with all your legal documents from when you purchased your home. The most important thing I want to see on this is this lovely certificate of compliance. Oops, that's not the certificate of compliance. Oh, shoot. Okay, well, the most important thing that I normally see on this side of the page is a certificate of compliance from the City of Calgary or the MD of Rocky View, depending on where your property is. That is so important to have for closing, and if you don't already have one, then I would suggest you call a land surveyor and get it ordered up because sometimes they can take up to 6 weeks, and you definitely don't want to pay the additional cost to expedite it. And I will tell you, you will not be able to close your transaction without one, and the buyer's attorney will likely hold back a sum of money until that document is received. And usually they like it to be received within 90 days of closing. I can tell you that I sold an acreage a few years back, and I wrote in a $5,000 holdback pending the real property report because I knew Rocky View was notoriously slow for doing these real property reports. And when you're dealing with a 4-acre parcel and there's some sheds and outbuildings, there's a detached garage as well as an attached garage, you wanted to make sure that you had everything compliant with the municipality because you don't want to get stuck footing the bill for any easements or covenants or any restrictions that were on the property that need to be remedied. Anyway, 90 days passed and my client called the lawyers and said, hey, I don't have an updated RPR. What happens now? And he says, you get the $5,000 to go get your RPR. So the funds were released to my client. It cost him about $1,100 to get his real property report, and the rest was pocket change that he used for a renovation, actually. So the moral of the story is make sure you do this at the outset. Make sure you understand what it is, why you need it. Make sure you meet the deadline to get it for closing. Expect to pay anywhere between, it might only be $350 to $500 if you're updating an old one because you've added some improvements to the property. It can be up to $1,000 to do it from scratch. And of course, acreages where there's a bigger parcel of land to survey are going to cost you more money. The next thing is, if you actually are a condominium, I like to see some condominium documents before we list. So there's a whole list here of a complete set of condominium documents, but the only ones that I'm really keen on seeing prior to you listing is your bylaws. So I know if we can rent, if we can renovate, if we can have pets. Can I have an open house? Can I put a sign on the property? Can I put a sign in the window, especially if you have a nice window that's visible from the street? All of these will be set out in the bylaws. I also like to see a financial statement to make sure there's some money in the condominium and an operating budget that will also specify your unit factor and the amount of condo fees you pay per month. And while I believe you when you say you're paying $300 a month, I actually need to see a piece of paper that says, yes, I'm paying $300 a month. So that is the other thing that I like. So going back to my checklist of things that you need to do before you list your home, one of the most important things is to see your home through others' eyes. When the buyers come in, how are they going to view your home? So one of the things that I always top of mind is finish the unfinished projects, whatever they are. I've been in homes where they wanted me to add $10,000 or $15,000 to the bathroom that was going to be finished, but it wasn't finished when I was there. It was a stack of tiles, a tub of grout, there was the toilet still in the box, counter leaning up against the wall, but it wasn't put together. So take the time to finish your unfinished projects. Also take the time while you're doing your unfinished projects to do your repair and maintenance. Now's the time to wash your windows, spray out your screens, clean your ducts, make sure everything is working, including light bulbs, light switches, plugs, all of that good stuff. In fact, I highly recommend a pre-list inspection where you bring in a home inspector, pay him about $400. He spends a couple hours in your house. He's going to give you a nice detailed list of everything you need to do to fix, because if you don't, the buyer's going to find that list anyway when they bring their inspector in, and then they're either going to want you to do it all, or they're going to want you to take a huge amount of cash off the price for them to do it all. So to be preemptive, I say do it before you list so there's no surprises. I'm sure you've heard declutter the space, you declutter the mind. I'm sure you're aware that when you go into a show home or you're looking in photos of magazines of these great show homes, there's not a lot of clutter to distract you. You basically see the space, the light. You might get a feeling for the size of the furniture. It gives you an idea of the size of the space. Well, that's the same when we go to photograph your home. So I provide my clients with a checklist of items to consider when we're going to be photographing their homes. So the first step is, of course, declutter. Get rid of it. You're moving, pack it up. You don't need it. It's only going to distract the buyers. They don't need to know about your degree. They don't need to know all your family photos every year from Christmases past. And while you're packing it up, don't just stick it in your furnace room, because the inspector's going to need to get at your furnace. So pack it up, pack it in a box, stick it in your garage, stick it in your shed, have it ready to go out the door. But get it out of the way. It's not included in your house, so why not pack it up and streamline your look? The other thing I like to see is washed windows to really let in the sunlight. I like to see all the light bulbs working, because when the photographer comes, we have to turn on all the lights. We have to open the blinds and the curtains. And the best way to shed light on a subject is to have natural light in there. Another nice touch that will add more dimension to your property, and certainly a lot more emotion, is to show a seasonal album. So depending on when you're listing your home, if you're listing in the winter and everything's covered up by the snow, you might want to have an album out of your perennials, the garden, the fire pit. We prefer no people in the photos. I don't mind pets, but we prefer no people. And then just leave them out on the counter. Occasionally when I have a really good shot that you might have taken of the sunset or the view of the mountains, I will include that to put it on realtor.ca. We're not allowed to have people in the photos, so keep that in mind. If it is in the summertime and your gardens are all out, sometimes it's nice to have a few winter shots, because I gotta tell you, it's very pretty after a snowfall, especially if you're surrounded by trees and all the snow sitting on there, showing that your yard is still private in the winter. It's always good to have a seasonal album. So talking about the seasons, that segues into my next important point when preparing your home to list. Please make sure you also spruce up the outside of your home. You want to maximize curb appeal. The day that we photograph, I don't like to see any cars in the driveway or parked out in front. We want to get a nice clear exterior shot, but this is also a good time to make sure the grass is clipped, the weeds are pulled. Some people add a little bit of staging to the exterior. I do like to see a little punch of red. It's supposed to be a good sign of prosperity and good feng shui. There's other little things you can do, setting up a patio set, put twinkling lights on their patios at the back, so that if it's a showing after dusk, there's still some light out back and you can see where you would be sitting and entertaining outside. So pick up all the toys, put them away, the lawnmower, put them away, sweep off your deck or your patio. Make sure you brush up on your curb appeal outside, front, and back. The last big point is to count on a professional. I do believe you're dealing with a lot of money, and it's important to hire a realtor. When you hire a realtor, especially someone like myself, for example, you're also hiring a series of professionals that we work with. I bring through a professional photographer, which may include a virtual tour, a 3D tour. Sometimes I do drone photography to get aerial shots. We also bring through a professional measurer to make sure it's to residential measurement standards, commonly referred to as RMS. We also have other professionals that maybe you need to bring in a handyman, a cleaner. I've had some engineering come in because we have an addition and maybe there wasn't a permit. It's questionable. It was done quite a while ago. So we bring in professionals to be part of my team to make sure that we're presenting your home in the best possible light. We also want to protect any liability for you to make sure we present your home accurately with the true square footage, with true years on dates and warranties of everything that's in the home, from your roof down to your mechanicals, your furnace, your hot water tank, your humidifier, water softener, air conditioner. We also want to make sure that you double check any contracts that you have on the property for alarms or anything that's leased on the property. That can include anything from hot tubs, water softeners. I've seen an air conditioner that was $50 a month on a Never Never plan. So we just want to make sure if there's any contracts in place that they're either transferable or that you can pay them out. That's part of my professional guarantee to you, that we're going to make sure every stone is uncovered and that we're presenting a fully transparent transaction to the buyer, and that there will be no surprises on closing day or in the days after you close. And finally, the other thing I'll need when preparing your home is a key to put on the keychain to put in the lockbox. Right now we're dealing in an era of a lot of keyless entry, and that's fine too. We'll make you create a code specifically for realtors showing the property so that at the end we can delete that code and not have it circulating to the public. I will still put that key code onto a piece of fabric and put it on the keychain, because the lockbox will also tell us who is entering your property and for how long they've been there. So we do want to keep track of who's going in and out of your property. So if you take these extra steps and really prepare your home to be listed on the market, it's going to improve your bottom line, it's going to expedite your sale, and it's going to make for a much smoother closing. And that's what we all want. We want a very smooth closing on possession day. Thank you so much for watching this video on how to prepare your home to list. It was a very short snapshot of the basic points in preparing your home to list. I would love to sit down with you and go through more details and customize it to your particular property. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and share with your friends. And let me know if you have any other subjects that you would like to cover in the wonderful world of real estate. Have a great week.
You need to breathe more.
I do. We really need to invest in prompters.